rehearsal.
That was awful.
I was gonna say we should have a concert. Hello everyone, I'm Jessica and I'm here with Sham. And it's been so fun. I just met her half an hour, 30 minutes ago, and already I feel like we've covered so much. She's just one of the most interesting people I've ever met. We're in her home, her beautiful home, and you can see all this beautiful stuff that she's been doing, and that's what we're going to be talking a little bit about today. Herself, her stories, her work, and what it means to be alive. So would you like to jump right in?
Sure. One of my absolute favorites is this one, actually. This is a barn owl. And I just think they're just the most magnificent birds alive.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've been very close to any one of them. I was pretty close to this one, and they smell like maple syrup.
Interesting.
And they're so super soft.
Oh, you got to touch it?
Yeah.
Wow.
But this was at Penang Bird Park in captivity.
Okay.
Sadly, the numbers are dwindling in the wild, as we know for most wild animals. And the number one cause of their dwindling numbers is us.
Do you have a particular story that you think about telling when you take these photos?
I think birds are more smart than we give them credit for. Their intellectual and emotional lives are more multifaceted and deep than we previously thought. The more I read about the cognitive and emotional abilities of birds, I'm just blown away.
What do you think we can learn about our relationship with each other as humans through our relationship with animals?
Just acceptance. Animals will accept each other as they are. And when I photograph an animal, whereas when I photograph a person, there's no layers to peel off before you get to their authentic self. They just give you the essence of who they are right away. There's no sense of mistrust or the emotional connection, I think, is instant. I seek that emotional connection at a very deep level.
Tell us about another one of your photos.
Her name is Sarah. I met her at a orangutan sanctuary.
Which one?
It was called the Bukit Merah Lake Town Orangutan Island, something of that sort. And for me, when I look into those eyes, I just see an intelligent being. And to me, when I say this, people look at me like I have a screw loose, but to me, this is a person.
Yeah, just a bit hairier, right?
Well, there are people who are this hairy too.
That is true.
And I wish more people would realize how precious the orangutan is and just make more effort to protect them, protect their habitat. This one, it's been very, very popular and viral online because of that facial expression. And what I found out when I was reading about owls is that they, just like us, they have tiny muscles in their face that show emotion. And also, why does she look this miserable is because owls are not waterproof. So when they get wet, they have to sit there and wait for their feathers to dry. They can't go anywhere.
Oh, poor thing. It does look quite sad.
Yes.
Do you think your childhood or, how you grew up, how has that influenced your art and the work you do?
I didn't realize this until recently.
Yeah.
That the reason I want to be such an advocate for animals is that I see my younger self in them. In the sense that I was once just as helpless and vulnerable as them. Right now we know that we are in the Anthropocene. It's just a big word to say that we are doing harm to nature and animals. And I took upon myself to do something to tell people this is not okay, we need to do better. They deserve our protection. I talk a lot about animal intelligence, but I'd like people to know that even if they were super dumb, it's still our responsibility to protect them. Instead of seeing ourselves as on a pedestal and above them, we need to see ourselves as their guardian.
do you feel your art has been able to help you tell that message?
There's a lot of mystery, like I said. There's a lot of unknown about owls.
Yeah.
And when they see something as cute as this, they're like, oh, I've never seen this kind of cuteness. So maybe there is something more to them.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we do need to protect them. But I will say though, the most heartbreaking comment I get is, I want one. When they say that, I have to remind them that this is not a kitten, it's not a hamster, it's not a bunny, it's not a quokka either.
It's not a quokka.
It's like the quokka,
Yeah.
they are meant to be in the wild.
Tell me a bit more about Aslan. Like, what's your story with him?
Oh, let
Take
me
a
show you
photo.
Aslan. He's asleep over there, but I can show you pictures of him. He is absolutely my teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling you earlier, cats don't obey. Some cats, they respond to treats.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't.
Oh.
Some cats respond to toys. He doesn't. Some cats, it's very rare, but they respond to voice commands, like come here, or you call their name, they'll come over. He doesn't. So all these challenges taught me to shoot fast. And that skill is very helpful when you're shooting wildlife. So he taught me to get a shot within a few seconds.
We're going to talk a little bit about this interesting poster to start with. Because I've been staring at it the whole interview basically, and I'm just really curious about Beyonce's microphone.
This came about when I was thinking what to say to people when they tell me, oh, your pictures are wonderful. You must have a really good camera. Then I'll tell them, well, if you met Beyonce and you're like, hey Beyonce, I'm such a big fan, your music is wonderful, you must have a really good microphone. Wherever Beyonce goes, whichever microphone she uses, she's still gonna be brilliant because her talent comes from within. It's the same with photographers and musicians and any other creative, because the camera and the microphone, they're just tools to help you realize your vision. If I wasn't using photography, I'd be painting, I'd be drawing. Who knows what else I'd be doing? Because the point is, when you find your why, the how just falls in place. This is one of my award winners. Do you know the Smithsonian Institute in US? So they have Smithsonian Magazine, and this won the altered image category. It's called a mandrill, and it's one of the biggest monkeys in the monkey family. And people always ask me, did you digitally enhance the colors on him? And the answer is, these are his actual colors. He looks menacing because he's meant to look threatening, but he had a gentle energy about him.
Do you see yourself as a leader in the community?
Yeah, just by being my best self and doing my best work, I am inspiring others out there. And if that is what a leader does, then I guess I am.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any advice for young people out there who would like to follow in your footsteps?
Oh gosh. So my advice to young people is, you know what your purpose is. If you have even a tiny inkling that you have talent, just validate yourself. And I'm touching my heart because the creative spark, I think of it as being in the heart. Just nurture it. Nurture it and do your art. Try to find ways to get better by practicing. Just practice and practice until you put out work that touches people at such a deep level. The story I'm trying to tell with my life is that you can turn pain into power. I come from a very dark background. The way I explained it to someone was, imagine a little bird, but that little bird is in a deep, dark hole, and she had two choices: either let herself be consumed by the darkness, or crawl her way out, survive, and thrive. So I was that little bird, and since we're here together, obviously I crawled out and thrived.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much for your time, Sham. And maybe just one last question for people who want to get involved in art and all the other things you do, like empowerment, advocacy. Where do you suggest they start? Like, what are some things that people can start doing?
Start with the self.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways that I've healed from a lot of childhood trauma is focusing on my inner child, and that's what we call it in spirituality, and nurture the child that you were, and start with forgiving yourself for not knowing any better back then, for just, it could be any number of things. We can find 100 things in under a minute to forgive ourselves for.
Yeah.
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 So empower your inner child, the rest will follow.